2024 is almost over, and what a year it has been. For me as a musician, it's been one of the most interesting and busiest years that I've had. I've become aware that I've learned a lot of lessons over the last year, some of which may be obvious, but as I take the time to wrap up and prepare for what's hopefully going to be another busy year in 2025, I thought it could be cool and potentially useful to document and share some of these lessons. So first up, it's a bit of a cliche, but step outside of your comfort zone. To put this into context, in 2022, I did 1 gig. In 2023, 3 gigs. In 2024, I just played my last gig, and that was gig number 22 for the year. So how did I do it? Well, up until 2023, it was more of what didn't I do? I was very set on playing a specific type of music, which was really kind of punk rock or funk. Very different, but that's what I wanted to do. I wasn't really open-minded about what I could play or really, where to look for gigs. So really it was time for me to look for new opportunities and to perhaps seek avenues that I'd previously not really looked at. My first opportunity actually came last year in 2023. And this was when a friend of mine suggested that I check out Gumtree. For those of you unaware, it's a marketplace where you can buy and sell items, but you can also look for services, find personnel for different jobs, and in this case, musicians. I found an opportunity where a band was looking for a guitarist. I checked out the ad, and it was for a drum and bass band. Now, I flirted with drum and bass whilst I was at university, which was a while ago now, and it's always a genre that's been close to my heart. So I thought, why not? Let's give it a go. I went into it open-minded, had an audition with some people that I'd never met before, but I had taken the time to do my research. I checked out their band and made sure it was kind of the vibe that I was looking for. And I was really lucky to get the gig. And my 3 gigs last year were all in that band. This year, we played more than 3 gigs, but we still only played 7. And for the same reasons, people have commitments, people have other responsibilities. 2 of the members of the band are regularly touring. So it was quite difficult to make the time to play shows. So I went back to Gumtree and I found another ad looking for a guitarist. This time it was for a country band. Now, country isn't huge in the UK, but it's definitely getting bigger. And I wouldn't say I'm particularly a huge fan of it. That being said, my wife is a huge fan of it, and I hear it all the time, and I know that there are some pretty good guitar parts in there. More importantly, they're great songs. So once again, I found myself, shedding a couple of songs. I had 3 songs to learn for this audition, a couple of pretty gnarly solos, which weren't beyond my capability, but not the type of thing that I would play typically. I learned the songs, I went to the audition, and I was really fortunate to get this gig as well. That's really where most of my gigs this year have come from. Just on this though, by kind of stepping out of your comfort zone and meeting new people, meeting other musicians, you'll also open yourself up to new opportunities. In the country band that I joined, the drummer was also a member of an 80s band. I was born in 1988. I didn't grow up listening to this music, not consciously anyway. Once again, an opportunity presented itself to get more gigs, play more music, and really play more guitar, which is what I wanted to do this year. Same story. I know it's boring now. Learned the songs, had the audition, really lucky to get the gig. And that's where my 22 gigs came from this year. I didn't play any punk rock gigs, I didn't play any funk gigs. I played a lot of gigs and it was great, and more importantly, played a load of guitar. This also made me a much better player. By playing songs that I wouldn't typically play, by playing genres that I wouldn't normally play, I was finding myself playing things that were completely new to me, things which I'd never really kind of considered playing, and now I'm probably playing the best guitar that I've played in 20 plus years. So the second lesson, and this seems like a bit of a contradiction to the first lesson that I just shared, is actually play less. And I'm not saying play fewer gigs, I'm talking about in the song, in the moment. I've really learned this year, particularly from playing in the drum and bass band, where honestly, I'm not playing a huge amount of guitar. I don't take a solo. I don't really play that many melodies. I'm mainly playing rhythm parts, quite atmospheric, ambient sections, which I'm making a lot of use of different effects. I'm really doing things with the guitar that I wouldn't normally do in other bands. Really what I've learned is it's important to leave space and understand and identify what is the focal point of the song. Certainly in the drum and bass band, we have 2 amazing vocalists, and the melodies, the vocal parts are a real key part of the song. So For me as a guitarist, I don't need to be kind of noodling and shredding all over the top of that, because honestly, it's just distracting and it probably doesn't sound that great in the context of the song. So I often find myself not playing anything, and that's okay, because I'm still having a good time, the band still sounds great, and you know, I'm there when needed at the end of the day. It's all about contributing to the song. So it's being aware of the parts that, you know, I'm playing, and knowing when to stop, knowing when to come back in. It's a small thing, but it's an important lesson. Third and final lesson, gear. I have spent hours, days, probably weeks on this platform watching gear reviews, shootouts, rig rundowns, and I still do, but I try to do it in moderation and really understand, is there a point to this? Do I need this gear? Because the time that I spend researching gear or looking at the latest and greatest thing, I could probably be learning a new song or looking for other gig opportunities. I guess really it's being more mindful of my time, but I just find that gear is a rabbit hole that I often find myself going down, and it either works out really expensive or just kind of infuriating because I've spent a load of time, which could have been spent more productively. Just on the topic of gear, I am a massive gear nerd, and I know people find it interesting. So just to say, I've gone on a roller coaster of tube amps, digital modelers, power amps, FR cabs, pedals. Oh, pedals. And really, does it matter? I mean, it sounds good. It's fun to, you know, kind of listen to and try out new gear. But what I found is I've settled on is I'm using a Helix. I'm using a Fender FR12. So I'm not even using a proper amp. It's just a speaker really. And I'm just using a couple of different guitars. I'm using this Strat, which it's a good Strat. It's an American Pro 2. You know, it's nothing fancy. It's not super expensive by today's standards, and it just sounds good. You know, it looks cool as well. It's a cool car. Miami Blue. So I've got some cool guitars, but at the end of the day, the gigs that I'm playing, when I'm playing in the drum and bass band, when I'm playing the 80s band, it's always the Strat. When I'm playing in the country band, okay, I can maybe have a bit more fun. I might bring out the Les Paul or a Telecaster, but at the end of the day, does it really matter? Probably not. It's cool. I get it. Like, it's good to do gear reviews. I may do some, but I think for professional musicians, for working musicians, just kind of find what works for you and just go with it, make it work, learn about it. So that's really it. I don't know if this has been helpful. It's been useful for me just to talk about this and to document this and really take the time to reflect on what has been a good year. I hope that my experiences can potentially help you out. And, you know, if you've got any questions, feel free just to ask them below. I'm more than happy to help fellow musicians, fellow guitarists, you know, whatever you're playing, it's all good. But yeah, that's it for me.